friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Abby and today we're doing the rapid fire book tag. I have not been tagged by anyone, but I thought it sounded fun. I thought it'd be quite quick and easy. So, question number one, ebook or physical book? I read predominantly physical books. I love the feel of having a book in my hands and flipping the pages and the smell of a physical book. I do have a Kindle and every now and again I use it. I might use my Kindle for books that I know I might not necessarily love, that I just want something quick and easy. Whereas when I love a book, I want to own it physically and be able to see it every day. Paperbacks or hardbacks? I like both. I like the way that hardbacks look on my shelves. I think they're very aesthetically pleasing, and I do quite like reading from them. Although they're heavy, I find that with UK paperbacks, the spines are so rigid and they break so easily, and I don't like breaking spines if I can avoid it. So, and with a hardback, you don't have to worry about that. But I do enjoy a nice floppy paperback as well, so. All books. I like all books. Online or in-store book shopping. I really enjoy, I find like going to a bookstore is like a day out type thing. It's exciting. And I like to buy books that will remind me of a time when I went to a bookstore. Like The Dragon Republic, I bought it in Cambridge on a day out, so it has that memory associated with it. I'll buy, if I see a signed copy or an exclusive edition, I will buy those in bookstores, but the majority of the time I just shop online because I want a deal. I read so many books, I can't afford to pay full price for all of them, I'm sorry, but if ever I can find a book on offer, then it's generally online. Trilogies or series? So, they're both the same sort of thing, aren't they? We're going to go for trilogies because then you know that it's a set of 3 books. It's easier to dedicate yourself to a trilogy than a series. I think I am intimidated by big series that I don't normally reach for them because unless I love that first book, it's quite a lot to commit yourself to a 7+ book series. Heroes or villains? Heroes. I like to root for my character, I think. I mean, I like both. I think you need to have a well-written hero and a well-written villain. That a villain can make a story if they're really evil. I think a lot of the time we read in the perspective of heroes and you like to root for them, and yeah, I'm going to go with heroes. A book you want everyone to read? I'm going to go for The City of Brass. I basically just did eeny, meeny, miny, moe on my bookshelf because I was like, I don't know which one I want to recommend to everyone, but we're going to go for The City of Brass, which I did put this series in my top books that I've read so far for this year. I put the 3rd one in that, but this is the first one. I think everyone should read this series. It's great fun. It's got amazing characters. It's got great political intrigue, warring families, a bit of romance. It's got everything you might want in a book. Recommend an underrated book or series. I think this book is quite popular, but I don't really hear anyone mention it on BookTube. I think it's more popular outside of BookTube, and I haven't heard of many people reading it, and that is Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. This book has a TV show now, which is great fun. It follows a witch called Diana, and she's a teacher at Oxford, and she sort of suppresses her ability to be a witch. She just wants to be a normal human being, and then she discovers this magical book in the library there, and suddenly everyone wants a piece of her, really. That they want this book and they're going to do anything to get to it. And there's witches, vampires and demons in this series. The last book that you bought, the last book I bought was Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey. I bought this for the Shelf Space Book Club. This is the pick for October. It is a sci-fi. That's all that I really know about it, that it's a massive series, and it's a sci-fi, and it's meant to be really good. I'm looking forward to reading it with everyone in October. Weirdest thing you've used as a bookmark? I don't think I really use anything weird. I generally just use a bookmark. I don't dog in my pages. If I forget my bookmark, I try and remember my page. I don't know if it's weird to say that you use things like train tickets or scrap pieces of paper. I've used cards. Occasionally I've used my headphones, like the wire from my headphone. But I don't know if any of those are really that weird to use. Used books, yes or no? Yes, I buy used books. We were talking about this in the Jessie May's Discord, and I've always said, yeah, I buy used books. They're a much more affordable price than new books. And then Sam came along and ruined all of my thoughts about used books by saying you don't know where they've been, you don't know what people have been doing with those used books, you don't know where they've kept them, what state they've been in, if they've been touching them after not cleaning their hands. And suddenly I'm feeling a bit repulsed by all the old used books on my bookshelf, but I sanitise them. I'm just going to have to try and forget about what Sam has said. I'm just going to be in my bubble where I don't think about that, and I'm going to be okay. Top 3 favourite genres. So my favourite genres are fantasy, then sci-fi, and then the third one, I don't really know, it gets a bit tricky because I'm literally like fantasy, sci-fi, and then everything else underneath that. So for the third one, I might go for thriller, like mystery thriller, but I feel as though that third spot could change, and like historical fiction or romance or something else could easily take that spot. Borrow or buy? I generally buy most of my books, which is a little bit expensive, but I like to own books. I have been using my library since it reopened back in August. I have been using it. I am trying to use it for books where I'm not sure if I'm going to love it or not, and it is a great resource, so I really should make sure I use it more and more. And I do have quite a few books out from the library currently that I am planning to read in the next few weeks. Characters or plot? I never know what to answer for this question, quite honestly. I feel as though I need both. Like, I enjoy a good plot, but it needs to have good characters. I'm saying both. I'm greedy. I want a book to have both great characters and great plot and great pacing. I don't ask for much, but I want both. Long or short books? I'm saying long. Looking at my average page count and what I generally pick up, I'm picking up long books. I think I average around 450 pages per book, so on the long side. I don't generally reach for books that are 800 plus pages. I think that's generally a bit too long, but I predominantly read more books that are over 500 pages, and it's a bit weird when I read a book that's only 300 or something. It feels very short. I just like the time. I like the time that you can develop with the characters. And long or short chapters? Short. I don't know who would answer long, but short, because then you just get through it quicker, and you're constantly flipping the pages, and when you're going to bed you just say, oh, just one more chapter, and you can do that 5 times. Whereas if they're long chapters, you're like, oh, finally, we've finished the chapter, right, bookmark in, ding, done. Name the first 3 books that you can think of. Boundary Side, Poppy War, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Books that make you laugh or books that make you cry? I'm going to go with books that make me cry, because I think those can elicit more of an emotive response, that you're more attached to the characters, you're more invested in the book with a book that makes you cry, whereas a book that makes you laugh, you can just pick up and put down without too much commitment. So although I don't really laugh or cry at that many books, I think it shows how well a book has been written if it can make you cry. Our world or fictional world? Well, as I said that my favourite genre is fantasy, I would hazard a guess to say fictional world, because I don't want to read books set in this world. I live in it. I don't need to read about it. Give me a fantasy world any day of the week. Audiobooks. Audiobooks, yes or no? I'm very so-so about audiobooks. If audiobooks work for you, then great. That is amazing. But for me, I struggle a little bit with them. I go through phases. I find that Audiobooks really work for me if it's a reread, if it's non-fiction, if it's a light fluffy rom-com, but the main books that I read are fantasy, so the majority of the time audiobooks don't work. So I go through phases of getting subscriptions for audiobook services and listening to a few, and then finding that I've got loads of credits that I can't use because none of the audiobooks appeal to me. I'm currently in a physical reading stage and I'm not listening to audiobooks. I'm sure at some point in the future I will start reading audiobooks again, but right now I'm physically reading, and when I do have time where I could potentially listen to an audiobook, I'm watching BookTube. Do you ever judge a book by its cover? I think we all do. I think everyone judges a book by its cover. You get sucked in by the pretty picture on the front and you think, oh, I want that. And if you see a really ugly cover, then you're like, oh, I don't think I want to own that one. Maybe if I get it from the library, but why would I want that on my bookshelf? Book to movie or book to TV adaptation? I think for fantasy books, book to TV works better than book to movie. Book to movie is 2 hours long and you cannot fit everything in to 2 hours. Like, this is a 600-page book. It's not going to fit. You're going to miss things out and then it's going to be ruined. So you might as well get a 10-episode TV series that will cover the whole thing and do it justice. Like an HBO series. HBO do fantasy. Well, they did do fantasy very well. But that's the sort of thing that I like. A movie or TV show you preferred to its book? Well, the one I just mentioned on HBO, I did prefer the Game of Thrones TV show to the books. I think they did the adaptation really well up until season 8. Otherwise, Vampire Diaries. Yeah, I never finished the Vampire Diaries series, and I only read the first book, I think, but the TV series did it better. And then the final question is series or standalone? And series. Yeah, I really enjoy getting to know characters over an extended period of time. I like it when you develop with the characters, you see them grow, and the same with plot. Whereas with a standalone, you get a small amount of time with them. So that's it. I thought I would be much quicker than this, but apparently not. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please like, comment and subscribe. Bye!